Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you with a Pokemon sales data video. There's a couple things I do want to go over because there's not a lot of data. Right now we have two from Gym Challenge. We got Sabrina's Alakazam, first edition PSA 6. Sold for $260. It started at $260. There was only one bid for it, so that's why it sold. And Brock's Ninetales, first edition PSA 10, sold for $601. Not a record price. Record price I think is $750 at this point, but a lot of those have been selling over the past couple of weeks. Gym Challenge, again, still my favorite set. Great artwork, very historic. If again, just doing this new segment, if I were to have an additional $500, I would probably put something in. I would say probably Blaine's Arcanine, first edition PSA 10. I know it's not 500; it's like a $3,300 card or whatever. But there's 121 of them. Maybe Giovanni's Gyarados too, because there's not that many of those either. And it's really uncharacteristic for Giovanni to have a Gyarados, because more of a ground type user. Maybe he wanted something that's could counteract his own Pokemon very easily, because you have water and you have flying. So I mean, it would suck against Ash's Pikachu or Red's Pikachu, but anything else is pretty good. Promo, we just have a Mew Black Star Holo PSA 10, sold for $785. Neogenesis, we had a Steelix. I don't know what was wrong with this one, but it's first edition PSA 10, sold for $375. Actually, Neogen might be something I would put into more than maybe Gym Challenge, just because Gym Challenge is my favorite, so I'm a little biased. I would say, because this Steelix first edition PSA 10, I sold one a couple months ago for $500. So the fact that this sold for $375 is a little undervalued. People I think are sleeping on Steelix and Kingdra, and not because that they're these great Pokemon, they're super popular. Although this is the first appearance of Steelix, one of the only Steel Pokemon in Generation 2. You had Steelix, you had Skarmory, Magnemite and Magneton were suddenly Steel. But this is different because, one, this is a Holo, so that's different from Skarmory and the other one. So it's the only metal that's a Holo, and it's historic, and people are going to need them to complete the sets. So they're popular enough because of those reasons, but they're not that popular because they're not starters. The 6 starters are the Holos that you have. And I think Ampharos too. So Ampharos, Steelix, and Kingdra are things that I think people will need to complete the sets eventually. And I think that's something that has a potential to go up longer than anything else. Sorry, getting a call, ignoring that. From Skyridge, we have it's a Charizard Holo, PSA 9, so for $6,880. That is, I'm not sure. That might be a record price point. So I'll keep posted on that. Gold Star. We have a couple of these. This is over like the past couple of days. We have a Japanese Charizard PSA 9. Again, Gold Star. So for $18.25. We have a Celebi PSA 9. So for $9.10. 2 Raikou PSA 9s. One sold for $450. The other sold for $455. A Raikou PSA 10 sold for $10.85. So again, a lot of the Gold Stars, similar with the Shinings, they don't follow that, 5 to 8 times. Like the 10 does not sell for 5 to 8 times what the 9 sells for. It's usually doubled, give or take. Regirock PSA 9 sold for $370. Trico PSA 9 sold for $1,100. Suicune PSA 9 sold for $430. Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip, they're fan favorites. I think Torchic especially, because right now on the PWCC auction block, Gold Star Torchic PSA 10, the current bid right now is about $15,000. I predict it'll go to 22. You heard it here first. I posted that on Instagram as well. That'll probably go to 22. That's something that, again, people love. They're very, very hard to grade. There's not a lot of them, and they're starters. So it's kind of like the trifecta of they're hard to grade, there's not a lot of them, and they're starter Pokemon. And let's face it, Torchic's adorable. Rayquaza, PSA. Again, that's another PSA 10 Gold Star, and this is on PWC auction block. The current bid is $28,600. I have no idea where this is going. I think the last one sold for 22 or 23, so this is already a record price point. Speaking of record price points, okay, so today we had a little bit of a, not drama, but there was a bunch of shill bidding on the Charizard that is on the PWCC auction block versus PSA 10. It was up to like $1 million. I was like, okay, this is definitely not real. But I looked at the top two bids were like $1 million, whatever. And I was like, okay, those obviously aren't real. Someone's being, facetious or whatever. But then like out of the top 10, 2 through 10 or 3 through 10, they're all $300,000 to $350,000. So they drew back all of them down to $300,000. And then in the last 24 hours, so in about 7 to 8 hours from now, they're only going to have people that either have a certain amount of feedback or are qualified for the auction. They're very, very PWCC, when it gets to over $100,000, they're very, very selective in who they allow to bid. So I had to do that for the Trophy Kangaskhan, and right now, even after they put it down to 300, it's crept up again to $320,000, and there is still, I would say, 31 hours left, and you have about. I told my friend Mark, who's Charizard this is, and again he put all of them out there from number 1 to number 16, all the hollows, so they're all his. And I told him, like, listen, the Charizard's probably gonna get 350. Like, I'm based on the data and the trends and everything, I'm betting it's gonna get up to 350. And he said, maybe that's about the upper echelon of what it might go up to, But he was like, I just hope it gets 300. I was like, girl, it is definitely going past 300, which is, again, some people are fooled because they see, one sold last month and that sold the month before that. And then you have, and they just see the ones that are either sold in PWCC or the ones that people hear about. And obviously some are sold in private, like you had Logan Paul buy one from Gary, Gary from Pawn Stars. And you have a bunch of other people that can see through that and be like, no, there's only 121 of these. First edition PSA 10 is the most popular card in the hobby. They know that there's a bunch of, in stocks, they call them cross trades. If you have a bunch of buying pressure and then a bunch of people that need to sell. But in this, there's so few of them and there's so many people in. I think Steve Aoki gave a little bit of a bump to Pokemon as well when he did that video last, 2 weeks ago with Gary. And now you have, again, you have millionaires in the hobby, that multi-millionaires that have no trouble throwing $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 around. So I mean, six figures for this is nothing. The high six figures, I think, will get there eventually when you see the supply dry up. Right now, there's still a little bit of supply. There's one pretty much every month that's selling. As soon as that dries up for a couple of months, and then one shows up after a quarter or two, 500K, guaranteed. You heard it here first. And that's for Charizard. Charizard is the most coveted card in that hobby, so that's why. Either way, that's it for me. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Patreon down below also. I love you all. Doctor.